Today we're talking about success and your view of it, your goals, and why you shouldn't let anybody else affect that, one, and why you shouldn't just compare and assume that something someone else has is better and what I have is not good enough. This was inspired by a comment I had on a video here really just in the last couple days, and it was about pricing lawn care and growing a company. The person made the mention of the ideal form of business not being a large company, being just to keep it small, keep it very tight, organized, keep it simple company. And I love that feedback. And I love that feedback because that's that person's version of success for them. That's their goals. And what's important, even more important about this, is to know it doesn't matter what your goals are. We all have things we're shooting for. We all have purposes. We all have passions. We all have our own hobbies outside of work. But when it comes to business goals, what we're trying to build, all of those things, it is okay for it to vary a lot. It's okay for one person to want a solo operation. It's okay for one person to have $1 billion operation. And it really, people are watching this and you might be thinking, you're watching this and thinking, oh, lawn care, $1 billion, $1 million, $100 million, those numbers are crazy. I mean, business is business and it can be done in any industry. I believe, what is it? Brightview is probably $1 billion company. There's just lots of money that can be made. Anything in between those two, at those far ends, those being the goals, is totally fine. You should never let someone else's goals and their visions and their views derail your goals and visions and views. If you're okay with being a solo operator, that's awesome. Because you're going to have the least amount of stress. You're going to have the most clarity what's going on. You're going to have the least customer relation issues because you're doing it all yourself. You're manning all those conversations. You got all the skin in the game to make sure it's perfect on every single interaction. But it's also okay to try to make it really, really large and have all of this potential upside and growth. The differentiation between these is huge in the wants, and you've got to evaluate what it is that you truly want. I feel like a lot of people look at what others have or these things, or they say, oh, employees are stressful and because I did this or this one bad thing happened, and all of a sudden you force yourself into a lane based on all of these other people, other goals, and not just what you want. I know for me, I needed to have something much bigger than me that was just a small piece of, that is a large operation, because that's what I feel most, empowered and have the most passion around doing. Really a lot because I wanted to create a lot of opportunity for my family first. That's kind of how this started off. And then I realized that this tailed into wanting to be able to create a lot of opportunity for employees and continued employment opportunities with our company. And I realized that if I was to keep it at a certain size, I wouldn't be able to have team members that can make high 5 figures, 6 figures, and then keep working up the ladder, right? There wouldn't be a bunch of high opportunity earners or opportunities to move throughout the company and management and all these different things. The opportunity to have marketing in-house or to grow off these different facets of our business. So that was a lot of what I was driven for. But those were personal things that I wanted. And I really think it's because I'm super obsessed with growth. Growth is a passion for me, and that's what excites me. Now, some people are very excited by efficiency and optimizing this one thing, and they don't even care about the growth. They care about it being just amazing in this one area. All of those things are right. There is no wrong in how you do it, and that's what's so exciting. And the better part of business is this is a game. This is the only sport. This is the only type of competing that you can literally do until you can't use your mind anymore, until you lose the ability, which I hope that no one does. I hope that you have a long, happy, sane, healthy life. But until you can't contemplate having and making the decisions and thoughts because you just mentally can't do it anymore, you can be in business. And that's what's cool. So you get to do this game forever. So you really want to decide how it is that you want to do it. And that was another piece for me that determined where I wanted to be. If I'm going to do this game forever, I need it to be bigger than me, because at some point, I'm never going to want to I'm going to have to be able to be removed and overseer of the companies and be able to just make decision-based work. And I'm not going to probably be able to do as much of the leg work. And that's it's like a transition in a moving through like your lifespan or your life, right? Ultimately, this was the goal of this conversation, just so everybody knows. It doesn't matter what it is that you want, what your goals and your version of success is. That's for you. That's the awesome part of this. You get to keep that for you. Don't let others affect that. If people told me when I was younger that if I kept this at a 1 crew or 2 crew thing and this many people, and then that's what it would be, and that would be the best thing, and I just listened, I wouldn't have what we have now, which is amazing. And I love what we have now. That was never really something people told me. What people always told me was that employees are so hard. It's going to be the biggest challenge. You're going to hate it. And employees are the biggest challenge. And that's why you get paid more, the more things, the more problems you can solve. So if you can solve a lot of employee problems, you're going to make more money as a company, as an owner, as a team. That's one piece of it. The more problems you can solve, the more money you can make. But the other piece of this is people always told me, oh, it was so much easier to start a business back in the day, all these things. People impose their thoughts on you like they're right. And they're a lot of times speaking from maybe some knowledge, and sometimes they're not speaking from personal knowledge at all. They're just hearsay and taking that information and putting that on you. Everybody told me this thing about starting a business. So I thought before I started a business that all these companies are perfect. It's impossible to start a business. It used to be so much easier. This is never going to be able to happen. This is just a pipe dream. I was wrong about all those things. It's the easiest time to ever start a business. The ability to use digital products and the ability to communicate and use what we have available to us today in technology is unbelievable. To communicate, to speed communication, to sell stuff over the phone, GPS, to have Zoom call meetings for landscape projects, to interview on Zoom, to do all of these different things. This is just a drop in the bucket. It is 1,000% easier than it used to be. Marketing is easier than it used to be. But if I would have listened to those things, I would have been derailed and I would have went down that path of, no, I'm not even going to try it. I'm just going to keep a job because that's what's smart. So ultimately, this whole conversation is about if you want to compare to someone else's company, because that is what you want in the future, and you're trying to learn from someone doing great things, compare away. But if you're going to compare thinking that, oh, I'm doing it wrong, or oh, this thing over here, like I need all that to have success, you need what you want, what your version of success is. This is why it's a you thing in this business, to understand what you truly want, because business is going to be like another child. If you're doing it well, you're going to care about it a lot. I feel personally responsible for every employee. It doesn't matter if they are totally out of line in the way they do it, but if they quit, they say something bad about the company, they talk poorly about me, my decisions, or anything else, I take personal offense to that. Not lashing out personal offense, but I care. And I hate that anyone would say anything bad, but you can't keep everybody happy, right? Same with client reviews. If someone says something bad in a review about the company, I take that personally and it hurts every single time, even though a lot of times, like if it's price related, can't help that. Like our prices are our prices. But when you're all in, when the business is something that you really care about, it is going to be another extension of you. It's going to be like another child. And with that, I think that's one of the things that people understand the least about business owners. It's so common for people to hate their job and hate showing up to work every day. The weird difference between that version and an entrepreneur, or a lot of entrepreneurs, or the entrepreneurs that I think are going to be ultimately successful, is they love showing up to work every day. They're excited about the problems they get to face. They're excited about what they're about to get into. And then you hear about balance. There is no difference between work and life, because life is life, whether you're working or experiencing or training or family, like it is all one and the same. And the ultimate beauty in life is being able to try to enjoy every moment of it and get as much as you can out of it, because you're only going to do it once. So set your goals for you. Set your level of success for you. If you want to make 50 grand a year, and that is the ultimate success, congratulations. That's awesome. That's no less important than the person that wants to make 100 million a year personally. Success is your version of success. Don't get derailed by others' thoughts, their inputs, their contributions, unless they are derailing you in a direction that is more towards your version of success and your goals. I hope this has helped you. I hope this has made you feel better, because a lot of times, you can feel like, hey, what I'm doing is just not important enough. What you're doing is exactly what you should be doing. And if you want to build and do more, that's awesome too. So I'm excited for your journey, and I hope this has brought you some value. Share this with someone else that, be in the throes of not knowing who to listen to, or not sure if what they want is right, or I'm thinking so big and everybody's telling me you should think smaller, you're not capable, share this video, give this a like, leave a comment of some time that they imposed a bunch of thoughts that would have slowed you down if you listened, but you didn't listen and you did your own thing and you're much happier. Please put that in the comments. I'd love to freaking hear that.